What's up YouTube, capital G here. So Power Code Link, the TCG version just got announced, and this is actually fantastic news, especially if you are a Cyberse fan. There are so many good cards in here that will take Cyberse to the next level. A lot of times you guys see when I have like Cyberse duels on my channel, a lot of the cards necessary to play that deck at its fullest potential are in this structure deck. And I really want to talk about this because I didn't see any YouTubers really bring this up or mention this. This information just got announced yesterday, and this is actually a pretty good structure deck, which I think is fantastic. This is coming out August 10th 2018, so it will be after what most people call national season, so you're not going to be able to play any of these cards for your WCQ, but there are some really good cards in here. So there are kind of three things I want to talk about. I want to talk about like the new cards that are in here that can obviously help you competitively, especially if you're playing like a Cyberse deck. I want to talk about some of the cards that might actually get taken out unless things change on the ban list, and then some of the value cards that are getting reprinted that are, you know, fairly expensive, or they don't have to be fairly expensive, but they make this a very good value. So first things first, Droll and Lockbird. This is probably one of the biggest reasons to actually buy this structure deck, and honestly I think Konami needs to start doing this with every single structure deck, like putting a big hand trap in there. I'm not saying they gotta put Ash Blossom in there, but you know, they did put Maxi and Dino Master's Fury even though they banned it. But you look at Droll and Lockbird, it's a $10 card, and basically just buying you know, Power Code Link kind of pays for, like the Droll and Lock is basically paid for because it is a $10 card, even though this will be a common, but you know, it doesn't really matter. It still obviously works the same. Yeah, I feel like they gotta find a way to get like Ogre and, you know, Winter Cherries and, you know, maybe Ash Blossom into some of the structure decks, because structure decks are meant to be like competitive, and obviously hand traps are a big part of the meta. So this is one of the cards that, in my opinion, makes this entire thing worth buying. You also have a Grinder Golem reprint. This is a card in the Vrains era that probably does need to be reprinted. I know it's kind of a degenerate card. I'm not the biggest fan of Grinder Golem, but it's limited at 1, so, you know, I think I can kind of tolerate this. Grinder Golem, and I checked TCG Player not that long ago, it is basically like a $4 card at the lowest, but I believe the super rare is like $10, so we definitely need another way of getting Grinder Golem. And when we get Security Dragon, obviously Grinder Golem plays will become a little more significant and the ceiling will be raised, especially with how popular Sayuja Skoldred has become, and the fact that this can kind of go into that card rather easily. Like Grinder Golem being in there makes sense, and you know, it's a very good reprint. Blazing Mirror Force. It's interesting that Konami chose this Mirror Force of all. I would have probably, I don't know, I probably would have leaned towards like Stormy Mirror Force. Obviously Quaking is just like, you're not going to put Quaking in any structure decks with the fact that it doesn't really work on Link monsters, but this is a card that's like $5 for the secret rare, and then the gold rare, which is the version you see right here, I believe it is about $2, and I think that those are the only versions of Blazing Mirror Force. Blazing Mirror Force is not a card that comes in like any common rarity, as far as I know. I mean, maybe there is, maybe I just like overlooked it, but it's actually a pretty decent, you know, reprint, especially if you're like, I don't know, if you're a degenerate, you play like Chain Burn or something like that. Then we have new cards. This is probably like, no, this is 100% the most important card in this, like, in this structure deck if you are playing Cyberse, man. Lady Debugger. This card kind of makes the entire Cyberse deck go. It's basically a Stratos for Cyberse. It's when it's normal or special summon, you get to add a level 3 or lower Cyberse monster from your deck to your hand. It's a hard once per turn. We expected that because, you know, ever since the RV era, most of the good searchers are hard once per turns, but it actually has a pretty good sized body, level 4, so you know, it's easy to go into like rank 4s and whatnot, but 1700 attack. This is the card that you will see played in every single Cyberse deck at 3 moving forward. Like the second that this comes out, you're gonna see this card in a bajillion Cyberse decks because it's basically the best normal summon that you have. And if you can have something like Brilliant Fusion, or you can pair it with the Nightmare Goblin, then it becomes really good getting those extra summons. This is another card that I think is actually kind of cool. I don't know if it has any competitive implications. It's called Flame Buffalo. It's a level 3. I kind of wish it was level 4, but it's okay. It says if this face-up card leaves the field, you can discard one Cyberse monster, and if you do, draw 2 cards, and it's a hard once per turn when you activate the effect. It's actually pretty cool because number 1, it can't miss timing. As far as I can tell, you should be able to use this during the damage step, as in if your opponent just runs it over, like if you have it in attack mode or something like that, and your opponent just runs it over. And obviously it goes without saying, if you link summon with this card, you can pitch, a dead Cyberse card in your hand, and then you get basically like a free Destiny draw. I think it's not actually that bad, especially again, if you can get it off of like a double summon to where you can maybe summon Lady Debugger, Lady Debugger searches this, and then you have that double summon to, get this card on the field, then go for something in your extra deck. Like, I think it's actually pretty decent. It sets up Monster Reborn and Soul Charge plays even more. We have Lanphalinkus. This is like maybe one of the most important vanillas that we're gonna have the entire year. Lanphalinkus is a card that you probably see in a lot of extra decks just because it's one of the, it's the only Link 2, as far as I know, that is completely generic and points down towards you with both of its link points. Like, that is fantastic. And this is really important because a lot of the kind of older decks that were hurt by Master Rule 4, the Fluffles, etc., especially if you have decks where your attributes are kind of all over the place, because now we have kind of all the attribute dudes. Well, we will by the time we get Cybernetic Horizon, which will be right about this time. But Lanphalinkus can be made with tokens, it can be made with whatever, it can be made with random monsters, and again, both of the link points point down towards you, so I think it's actually pretty decent. We have Power Code Talker. This card's okay. I mean, it's not as good as Decode Talker. It's significantly better than Xcode Talker. The fact that this card can negate a face-up monster on the field, like, that's actually pretty good because it just kind of has a built-in breakthrough skill. The other effect where you tribute a monster that is linked up with it, and then this card's attack becomes 4600 during the damage calculation. That's okay. I mean, it's sorry, it's not fantastic, but I think that this is an okay card. And then Tribe Infecting Virus is also in here. There's a significant chance that Konami ends up removing this unless we end up getting this card off of the ban list. I used to know, or I know a long time ago, Kevin Tewart was not a big fan of this card. He was just like, oh, it hurts archetypes. And I don't know, maybe Konami still feels that way, especially now because the game is so archetype based with everything from like crawlers to Altergeist to Trickstars. Almost all of these decks they're like, one type. So, maybe Konami still feels a certain type of way about this. I'm hoping by the time that this comes out that we will have Tribe Infecting Virus at least at 1. They have it at 3 in the OCG, and obviously nobody plays it because it's been fucking power creeps. This would be really nice to get it in here. I'm actually wondering why it's in this structure deck. I guess just as kind of like a piece of removal. It wouldn't have made sense to give OCG players Regeki because they don't have Regeki. And then when you look at the card list, there are other like really good reprints in here. I believe there's Goblinberg in here. That's a really good card. You've got Reborn Tengu, which obviously has gotten significantly better with the link mechanic. Phantom Skyblaster, decent card. Genix Ally Birdman. You've got Forbidden Chalice, Scapegoat, Reasoning. Feels like one of those structure decks that kind of newer players who are looking to build up their collection can probably use this and then get like a lot of good cards, you know what I mean? Like 1-for-1 is in here, a lot of Trap Stun, Call of the Haunted, Reckless Greed, Debunk. Like, these are all cards that, OG players like myself, you probably got 5 for Reckless Greeds from that one time you played Chain Burn or whatever, but newer players might not actually have all these cards. So overall, this is actually a fantastic structure deck, and I hope Konami doesn't really change much. I definitely hope they keep the Drone and Lockbird in there. I think that, Tribe Infecting Virus probably is going to get taken out, but as long as they keep everything else in there, I think we've got ourselves a really good product on our hands. So you guys let me know what you think of Power Code Link. Is this something you guys are going to pick up, or are you interested in it? If you're playing Cyberse, I really want to know how you feel about this, because I feel like this is going to take Cyberse to the next level to where they can at least be pretty decent on like the regional level. YCS level, I'm not ready to go there yet, but whatever you guys think, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already. Turn on that notification bell for daily videos. And actually, there is one more card that I want to talk about. I didn't talk about Segmetal Dragon when it was first revealed because I wasn't exactly sure how to get the most out of this card, and I still don't think I am, but I think that it is a very interesting card. So Segmetal Dragon, just to kind of break it down quickly, it's Cyberse and 2600 attack, 2400 defense. Basically, you can normal summon the card without tributing, but if you do, its attack and defense get cut in half. And then if it was normal summon, and this is a quick effect, you can blow the card up to blow up all monsters in the main monster zones that have less attack than it, and that includes your field as well. So it kind of becomes a pseudo dark hole at that point, but it does not blow up monsters in the extra monster zones. This is an interesting card, and I wonder if Konami is maybe like, I really wish it was level 8 because then it would work with like trade-in, and it would work with like other things on the field. I mean, I guess there is like Sacred 7-star swords. It's really weird that it might actually work better in like pendulums, because you know, pendulum decks can easily synchro, or not synchro, but pendulum summon for level 7. But I do think it's kind of cool the fact that you could have a walking dark hole for 1400 attack and lower monsters and never have to actually tribute summon this thing. I just wonder if they ever actually expect you to tribute summon for it, because I can't really see you doing that, man. Like, I mean, yeah, then you'd be able to get a dark hole for like 2600 or higher, but is anyone actually going to do that? Anyways, I just wanted to talk about this card because I felt like if I didn't now, I'd probably never have a chance to.